Hey there, awesome teachers! Do you struggle with classroom management? Well, you're not alone. Research suggests that most first-year teachers find classroom management one of the most difficult parts of teaching. Thankfully, however, we have positive reinforcement to save the day. Over the next 7 or 8 minutes, we'll look at positive reinforcement, beginning with a brief history of classroom management, going into a definition period defining positive reinforcement, and finishing with some helpful examples you can use in the classroom. After that, we'll briefly summarize and you'll have a chance for reflection. So let's get started. For the sake of this video, I have divided the history of classroom management into 3 simple periods. The first is pre-industrial revolution, second, pre-modern, and third, 21st century. In the pre-industrial revolution, most children were forced to work. Very little schooling took place, and if it did, the primary outcome was learning obedience, timeliness, and work ethic. The Industrial Revolution freed up many students to go to school, but these same 3 concepts were taught. Many of the same disciplinary actions used in childhood labor were used in these early schools. One German schoolmaster famously bragged that in his 51 years of teaching, he delivered 911,000 blows with a rod, 124,000 blows with a cane, 20,000 taps with a ruler, 136,000 blows with the hand, 10,000 blows to the mouth, 8,000 boxes to the ear, and 1,118,000 blows to the head. While many remnants of the early classroom exist in modern schools, physical punishment as a means of classroom management does not. Despite today's high academic standards, classroom management is still extremely important. To meet those high standards, teachers must constantly adapt their classroom management strategies to increase positive behavior and decrease negative. As mentioned earlier, positive reinforcement is one strategy teachers can use to create a positive classroom culture. Positive reinforcement is defined as the delivery of a reinforcer to increase appropriate behaviors. It also serves to turn positive attention towards students behaving well, taking attention away from students who are misbehaving. Many students misbehave just to receive attention, so positive reinforcement is a good tool to remove that attention away from these students. Once you have chosen to utilize positive reinforcement in your classroom, you must choose your reinforcer. It is important that reinforcers are motivating to the students. Otherwise, your positive reinforcement strategies will not work. The best way to use this is a reinforcer survey that you hand to the students and allow them to tell you what they find motivating. There are 2 main types of reinforcers, primary and secondary. Primary reinforcers are tangible, things like small toys or candy, while secondary reinforcers are non-tangible, things like special privileges, extra credit, or praise. Usually, primary reinforcers work best for younger students, and secondary reinforcers work best for older students. But use your own discretion and the input from your students from the reinforcer survey when choosing what reinforcer you use. Now that you've chosen your reinforcers, you must choose several strategies in which to implement positive reinforcement. In this lesson, we will cover 5: noticing and naming, individual recognition, class-wide recognition, shout-out notes, and family, coach, or mentor contact. The first 3 of these will be shown using video examples. Noticing and naming is a technique where teachers notice good behavior in the classroom and name this out loud. It is different from praise in that this teacher is not congratulating or thanking the student, but simply announcing what the student is doing for the rest of the class to hear. Here's an example of notice and name in action.
Sit down, ready to go. Table 8 is. Make sure everybody's in their seats just like table 3. Get ready to go. We're waiting on a few more students to sit quietly like table 8 is here. Make sure we're quiet. Double stop. Ready to go. I'll have to add some time if I need to. Okay.
The next technique is individual recognition, in which teachers recognize students who are performing exceptional work or have outstanding behavior. Watch as this teacher rewards his students with tickets that can be then used for a drawing.
They feel
we can either do 2 drawings today, or we can do 1 today and 1 next week. What would you guys prefer?
2 times.
2 times today? Okay. I need another volunteer to grab a ticket. This time a guy. Omar was the first hand I saw. Okay. Omar, let's get this all mixed up real good again. Reach in there, don't look. What do we got? Kai. Perfect. Yeah, put it back.
Go up there.
Alright, Kai, we've got some hot tamales, we got some Butterfingers, some Funyuns, Doritos, Lay's, got some school supplies. What do you want? Got the Lay's. Perfect. Alright, so
The third strategy described today is class-wide recognition. As the name suggests, class-wide recognition recognizes the entire class when all students are performing exceptionally. In the following example, the teacher gives the class a class point for staying quiet during attendance. Notice how the teacher tells the students why they are receiving the class point. These class points can then be cashed in for various rewards.
alright. Thank you guys for getting nice and quiet while I did roll. I'm gonna give you guys a class point for that, right? Following directions, let me hear all the people on the other side of the room. Earned yourself a class point. So you guys are up to 4. Just a reminder, right, that these class points, they go till next Wednesday. We'll add them up, and then the winning team will get treats during/after our final test next Friday. So keep up the good work, you guys. You guys are in a tie for 3rd place right now.
The fourth positive reinforcement strategy we'll talk about today are shout-out notes. These should be handwritten notes on actual paper that are given to students when they perform exceptionally on an assignment or have outstanding behavior in the classroom. In today's fast-paced digital world, it means the world to students to receive a handwritten note from a teacher. The 5th and final technique is family, coach, or mentor contact. Just as it is extremely important to let these people know when the student is misbehaving in the classroom, it is equally as important to tell them when the student is doing an awesome job. Usually, this will result in the student receiving some kind of recognition at home, which will double your efforts to improve their good behavior in your classroom. That concludes our lesson on positive reinforcement. To summarize, creating a positive classroom culture is as important as ever. Positive reinforcement works to improve good behavior and decrease bad or unwanted behavior. For positive reinforcement to be effective, it must use a good reinforcer. You can choose a good reinforcer by instilling a reinforcer survey. Finally, there is a variety of ways that positive reinforcement can be implemented into your classroom. Thank you for watching. When the video ends, please take a few minutes to complete the reflection question at the bottom of your handout. Have a great evening.